rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy, know y'all with me, let's get it, baby,
Welcome
Royal,
back to another edition of
rockin' Navy,
the Cougar Beat
know you with me.
podcast here on KSL.com. And we're going to continue our theme of distance running because at BYU, we all know it's not a football school. It's not a basketball school. It might be a volleyball school. Maybe we can have that argument some. But I think above all else right now, BYU is proving to be an anaerobic school, a distance running school, a cross-country school, if you will. Obviously, Connor Mance and Clayton Young just barely qualified for the U.S. Olympic team via the Olympic marathon trial, so they'll be headed to Paris. You heard about that one earlier in the week. And I'm joined right now by a guy who, I'm just going to say it up front, I think is the future of BYU cross country and track and field. He's one of the best distance runners that I've been able to cover at the high school ranks for the last 2 years, ever since he moved to Utah from Idaho. And joining me right now is two-time Gatorade National Runner of the Year, 6A state champion, 6A state meet record holder. He's run 5 sub 1450 cross country times over the last 2 years, including 4 of them at high altitude, multiple honors on the national circuit at New Balance Nationals, Nike Cross Nationals, whatever. The number 1 ranked runner in the class of 2024. And by the way, he still finds time to maintain a 3.93 GPA and volunteers locally at the public library where he reads to children during an hour-long story time every week. I don't know where you find all of this time, but Daniel Simmons, Danny, thanks for joining the podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
In between that busy schedule there, I really don't know. Do you ever sleep? Like, is
Yeah.
something that you lose out on or what?
No, I mean, there's been times where it's been, wire to wire, but no, sleep is so important.
Sleep is
So,
especially important
but
for a high functioning distance running athlete, and I mentioned it off the top.
yeah.
But let's start with kind of the main reason that we're here. Back-to-back Gatorade National Runner of the Year honors. You were surprised about a week or so ago by the last guy to win the Gatorade National Runner of the Year award 2 times, Grant Fisher, collegiate star, professional athlete, Olympian, all of that good stuff. Walk me through that day a little bit and how you kind of found out that you were getting this award for a second time. You'd already been in contact with the Gatorade people, so they had to work overtime, I think, this year to surprise you a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess my parents and my coach knew, a couple weeks in advance and figured out the day and the when to do it, and it was Monday morning at like 7 in the morning before school, just after our morning run. We were going to the weight room to do our, everyday exercises, and then my coach pulled me aside and told me to help get some jerseys or old gear that was donated by alumni to reward the boys for racing so well the previous Saturday. And so I was held back, and everybody went to the weight room, and I walk in with stuff, and everybody's there. Grant Fisher's there holding the trophy, and it was insane. Like I don't know, it's really hard to describe because of how exciting it was. It was mind blowing.
Mind-blowing, I think, is probably the best word that I heard in describing that. That's pretty cool, really cool, especially getting to hang out with Grant, I imagine, for a little
Yeah.
while afterwards was that a little bit of a pinch me experience?
That was pretty cool, and yeah, for sure. He's a very well-rounded guy, and he's got great tips. He he's very kind and is just a great human on top of a great runner. So it was pretty special.
Well, you're pretty special yourself as an athlete, as a distance runner, as a cross-country harrier. You moved to Utah a couple years ago from you and your family from Idaho. and you jumped into Timo Mostart's powerhouse program out there at American Fork. You've won a couple of state meets. You've helped lead the Cavemen to state titles, to regional championships, to national meets and national titles, and that sort of thing. When you look back, and I know you still got the indoor and the outdoor track season, so it's probably a little bit unfair to ask you about this now. But coming off of the end of the cross country season, especially, do you feel like making that move to Utah was everything that you had hoped it would be to improve your game and really help build you up for the next level collegiately and so forth, to run to the next level?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it has been. It's been great living out here and running with my team and getting to know my coach and the style of training that he runs by. And I think it's been, yeah, that's it's been fun learning new traditions and embodying them and becoming more, yeah, more in tune with my running self, I guess, since moving here. And it's been great.
It also feels like the level of competition the last couple of years on the local scene has really, the old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? What's the competition level been like? Not only for you in American Fork, but when you go up against there are some other local programs around here at Harriman and Riverton. Obviously the best 5A runner in the state at Olympus, and everybody loves JoJo, right? What's
Oh
it been like running
yeah.
against some of these guys that are not only at the top of their game in Utah, but nationally some of the best distance runners, to be able to see them kind of week in and week out? Has that helped you and kind of improved your mentality and your competitive drive?
Yeah, it's really cool being able to, go to big race like local races. They're really fun, they're competitive, and it drives us to be better. And then moving forward, going to the bigger races, it is pretty special having not only like your team there and obviously you being there yourself, but like Utah on top is it's pretty special to have so many great, wonderful athletes that are, great people and performing extremely well, just covering the spectrum of speeds. And it's a unique thing I've never experienced before. So, yes.
What is it? And I don't know if there's a secret sauce. You probably want to tell me if there was a secret sauce, so maybe I'll avoid that entirely. But what is it about Utah distance running, do you think, that makes? I mean, you're literally seeing Olympians and national college champions and just so many of the best, even professionally, that are training in Utah or coming out of Utah. Like, what do you think it is in the water that has like this unique running culture in the state?
I think, it's actually, I believe personally, beyond running, it's actually um I think it's about the belief this running community has. There's a quote that, runs to my mind. It's like anything can be special as long as it believes it is. And anyone can be a special person and be the greatest as long as they believe they are. Um, and so I think belief here is off the charts. And so it's really it's really tying up into this, you know, everyone's the greatest, so why not me? I can be the greatest, and everybody wants to be the greatest. So, you know, a lot of people are trying, and they are becoming the greatest. So it's pretty unique.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I mentioned your high school coach, Timo Mosser. We got to give a special shout out to Timo and what he's done at that American Fork program, and a bunch of other programs across the state, up and down the Wasatch Front, and even the Wasatch back. And your future coach, I think Ed Eyestone at BYU, has as big of a hand in kind of developing this unique culture as well. You've already signed your national letter
Hmm.
of intent to run for the Cougars. You're going to enroll there and join them this coming fall after you graduate from AF for the cross country season. When you signed there, I just want to read this really quickly because this is what Coach Eyestone had to say about you. And I don't know if you've read it, if he sent it to you or whatnot. So maybe I'm putting you on the spot and embarrassing you. Sorry a little bit for that. But he said it was really exciting when Danny chose us over some really good programs in school. Quote, he's a guy that looks like he could come in and be an immediate player for us his freshman year, which is really hard to do. In men's cross country, you move up from the 5A distance in high school to 10K at the collegiate level. And he's the kind of guy that looks like he can handle that jump immediately. We have high hopes. He'll be a big part of what we do right from the get-go. When you hear that from your future college coach at Ed Eyestone, high hopes for you, high expectations for you, but just what kind of comes to your mind, and maybe we'll use that to kind of jump off about what you like about BYU and sort of why you chose the Cougars over just about any program in the country that it felt like you could go to at one point or another.
Right. Hearing that from my future coach is really exciting because, I have big goals and I have big dreams, and having my future coach say that really, helps me have belief and hope in achieving those big dreams and big goals because you can't really do much if you're always in a box. So I'm really excited moving forward with BYU. I really grew to love their team. I love the spirit that is around them and the way they live their lives, the way they live outside of running, and the way they treat each other. It really helps me feel whole and complete and at home when I was out there with them. So I'd say probably that's one of that is the biggest reason I chose BYU because it's not just my life isn't just running, and so where I'm going to be spending the next potentially 8 years of my life, I hope I can feel safe and strong all as much as possible in that time there.
When you see some of the distance runners that are coming out of, again, shifting not only from the state of Utah but also through this BYU program. I mentioned off the top Connor Manson, Clayton Young qualifying for the marathon, the U.S. Olympic marathon team for Paris 2024, and national champions and professional champions, and at a variety of distances. I've always wondered, and I've talked with Coach Ison a little bit about this, if that's like sort of a recruiting thing that program can use. But do you see that when you're thinking about running there or going through the recruiting process? Do you see like the types of runners that are coming out of that program and think like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Those are the goals that I have. I want to be there, and so I know that BYU can get me there.
Absolutely. It is so exciting to see, alumni and current runners just kicking butt and moving up the ranks. It's pretty thrilling to be like, "Woo, what are my possibilities?" This is so exciting for them and off the charts. Yeah.
Coming off of the cross country season, you're jumping into the indoor track and field season. I guess you're right in the middle, right in the thick of the indoor season, and then the outdoor season is starting up here. Shoot, before we know it, man, we're only like 2 weeks
Mhm.
away from the first. I think the first outdoor track meet here in Utah. Even though if you look outside right now, you see snow on the ground. It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Gonna be here before you know it. You guys are headed up to the Simplot Games in Idaho next week, and then the New Balance Outdoor Championships the first week of March in Boston with American Ford. What's kind of left for you to do as you move now from cross country to the track station, to the track and field season, and what are kind of some of your goals that you can maybe share with us for that side of track life?
Shoot, well, I mean, every high school senior wants to go out with a bang, so I guess like, winning and setting records is gonna be cool, but I don't know. I think one thing I know that's gonna keep me going longer than anything else is I'm really trying to focus on just being my best every day and moving forward one day at a time and and having big goals is really important, but I really think it's more important to make sure that the day-to-day processes aren't being skipped out on and the little things aren't adding up against me and being stacked on. Um, because yeah, there are some big goals out there. I don't know if we'll see. But like I think, heading into the end of indoor and heading into outdoor season, there's I think one obvious goal that most people have as a high school distance runner, being in the position I'm in. I mean, I'd love to break 4 in the mile and then move out to the West Coast, probably go to Arcadia and run as fast as I can in the 3200 out there. Um, and then I think one of the I think a closer to my outdoor track season will be the New Balance Outdoor Nationals. I'll probably be doing like the 5K on the track, see if I can break any records there. And yeah, I mean it's all going to come together one day at a time. So that's where I'm at.
For sure. Well, 100%. And you're well on your way right now. Like I mentioned before, the two-time Gatorade National Runner of the Year, 6A state cross-country meet record holder as well. You're shooting down records and gunning down. You got a couple more to gun down even over the next
Yeah.
couple months before you head off to BYU and that powerhouse program down there. I want to get you out of here on this because I touched on it before a little bit when I joked if you had time to sleep or not. But the thing that always catches me with the Gatorade folks and the Gatorade Award every year is it's a award that's not just about athletics. Like they really emphasize that their award is more than just athletics. It's got an academic component, 393
Mhm.
GPA. Like you're able to maintain, and then there's also this community service component that I think is really cool. The one that they highlighted with you, or that you highlighted with them, was spending weekly story time at the local library reading to kids in there.
Mhm.
Just talk to me a little bit about that and why you feel like why you felt like that's kind of important to give back to the community and sort of what you've been able to get out of that kind of activity that's not, preparing for your next mile or trying to break the 4 minute mile mark or getting ready for your next
Mhm.
cross country meet. Like what kind of made you want to get involved there locally with local kids?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Running is is fun and great, but I mean, serving others it always leaves you feeling so much more whole and so much more complete. And I feel like without it, it leaves kind of a void in one's life where, running will take you far, but I I think without a holistic approach, you're gonna find yourself running out of gas. And so if serving the younger generation, I believe that's more exciting to me than, having a stellar workout. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes stellar workouts are just yes, but I'd say oh, it's just really it brings hope to me to see that, I won't be the last one running, fast times and chasing dreams and becoming the greatest civilization on earth and growing and developing new and incredible skills. So I really, I don't know. I think it's important to focus on others on top of trying to become the best yourself. Otherwise, I like one thing I always say when I'm, you know, going out and competing is it's never as fun to compete alone. It's not that great to win alone. It's always better to have someone to share the victories with. So, having fun with other people, it makes it great to to win because they are excited for you, they're happy for you, and you're just left like, yay, look, this is pretty cool. So, yeah, that's my approach.
For sure. For sure, 100%. I love that answer, and I love that attitude and that mentality as well. That it's great to go out and crush a workout, and it's great to go crush a meet record or a course record. Uh, but it's also just as cool to go and serve your fellow man, and kind of that feeling that you get there. And I think that's the right attitude. I think that's the right mentality to have. I know for a fact that's the type of mentality that Coach Eyestone loves with his athletes as well. So I got a feeling, Danny, you're going to fit right in with that BYU team when you're there in a couple of months. And you better be careful, because I might have some high expectations for you, just like Coach Eyestone. Probably not as high as him, but the rest of us might have some pretty good expectations. Daniel Simmons. I've called you Daniel your entire career. I just now realized that it's like you prefer Danny, I guess. So I apologize for
Yeah,
calling you
it's
Daniel
all
all this
good.
time. Danny Simmons, from American Fork, two-time Gatorade National Runner of the Year, BYU signee, 6A champion in Utah, and maybe a couple more record holders as we finish out the indoor track season and move into the outdoor track and field season. Danny, thanks so much for joining me for another edition of the Cougar Beat podcast, excuse me, and for just going over your incredible career and more to come, I guess.
Thank you. I love being here. It was great.
The Pac-12 mad, but we still on top, bro. Jaren Harder, Cody Epps, that's a cool connect. Yeah, my team is kinda old, but it's cool we vets. I'm hitting too hard, ow, I hurt my neck. Hey, Leak, you good, bro? I'm about to hit up Brad. Man, them Utah State Aggies, man, they just some pets.